We're in the Bear Crek Nature Park on the east coast of Vancouver Island near Campbell River. It is here that the Oyster Enhancement Society has its salmon hatchery. 4 species of salmon are being raised here from the point of view of eggs right up to the stage that they naturally go to the ocean and rear to become adults. But we also want to manage the environment of this area, and I'm doing my best to do that in the sense that I know that no ecosystem is complete without predators. My objective is to make sure that we have small predators as well as large predators, and including the small owls. So I'm putting nest boxes up for the small owls. Western screech owl, northern saw-whet owl, and northern pygmy owl are the 3 that we're after. Also nesting here, though, are the great horned owl and the barred owl. We'll do our best to give nesting opportunities to these smaller owls and see if we can maintain that predator-prey relationship. Opportunity to nest, the number of natural cavities, they're a cavity nester, the number of natural cavities, of course, is still here, but if we can add cavities by putting nesting boxes up, we think that we can improve the situation. I've had a total of 19 boxes up for the small owls, and this is the 11th or 12th year now that we've been trying to promote this species. I've lost 2 of my boxes to a logging operation, so we're down to about 17 boxes now, but I may put up more here in the park sometime within the next year or so. Most of the boxes have been 10 to 13 feet above ground level with a ladder. But some of the boxes I've put up deliberately just 5 or 6 feet above ground level, because this gives the birds an opportunity to select any nest height that they want. So far, the nestings that we've had have all been in the higher boxes, but nobody knows what could happen this year. We hope we can get some nesting in the lower boxes because they're a lot easier to deal with. This is number 308, so this box was put up in 2008. You might want to come in and take a look at it here. Can you see it? It's got a pocket. There's a definite pocket. Something has been roosting in this box. Maybe not recently. I put a small stick. I usually leave a little small stick, just a little twig, across the box so that if anything goes in, it will knock that twig down and I can tell whether or not something has been in it and using it. So I'll leave the twig in. It was knocked off this time, so something has been recently roosting in this box. I'm not going to destroy this. I'm not going to change the chips in this one. I'm going to leave it just in case it's a recent start of a nesting by an owl or some other bird here. So we're cleaning all the stuff out. You don't want it too deep because the eggs would get buried in the bedding if you put it too deep. Seal it with a nail. Pin it off up there. That should be ready to go in the next few weeks. But now that we've done that and the nesting season is approaching, I can do it a lot easier now. With a camera on a pole, I can take a picture inside the box to see what's in there, and if there's nothing there, I move on. If there is an egg or young ones, then I can start documenting what's happening in this season. So what I've done is I've attached a small digital camera to a pole, and what I can do is set it for a 10-second delay. I then press the button. I've got 10 seconds. I put that into the box. And you see a flash. That can come out now. And I have a picture of the inside of the box. Well, Nobody home. It's a little moist on the bottom, so I'll clean it right out and replace it with dry material. And the little twig that I put in there wasn't moved, so nothing had been in there. Put the twig back in place.
Good.
All done.
Good.
Looks like it's got a squirrel's nest in it. In this area, the red squirrel is a native species. And we don't mind if red squirrels get taken into our boxes because they're part of the ecosystem here. In fact, they would be a food source for the smaller owls. But typically, the squirrels will pull in a lot of moss, good, nice, dry, warm moss, and build almost a house in there with their young ones underneath the roof of the house. The roof of the house being moss, but then the roof of the whole nest box is going to keep them dry as well. So that almost certainly is an example of red squirrel nesting in some of our boxes. Notice all the chips down in here?
Yes.
Oh, the woodpecker.
Oh, the woodpecker.
This will be a hairy woodpecker, I believe, because he's been at this tree for the last 2 years now, and he's really going at it. He's finding lots of goodies in it.
Right.
Oh, looking pretty good and dry, too. See, here's... See that? This is a
snail?
Yeah, a snail, yeah. So something's been coming into this box and eating snails. Because they're always... Oh, look at this. Yeah, he's done it again. Look at this.
Wow.
No, this is the crayfish, the freshwater crayfish. All right, they're in the river here. And they eat those things too. So I don't know who's doing it. And I've got to find that out. Got to get a picture of this.
Good.
She's big and mean. She attacks ladies and young ladies in black. Anybody home? There's 3 in here. What I'd really like to get is the bird that sounds like this.
Saw-whet owl?
It's a western screech owl.
Oh, that's a screech.
He sounds just like that. It's like a ball bouncing, boom, 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 boom. You know? Well, and that's the right tone. Now look it.
So how did you ever figure out that little play toy?
Well, look at this. My grandson, who's now 15 years old, somebody gave him this when he was a little boy. And I happened to look into his toy box.
His toys.
I looked into his toy box and I said this, and I said, oh my gosh. So I went, I took it home, and I put it, and I have tape recordings of the sounds of the owls. And so I had played the tape, and I'd get the right tone. And so I had marked, and see the little marks I've got here? Each of those little marks tells me the western screech owl, that's the one I just played. Now there's another one that could even respond to us right here now. Western screech owl probably wouldn't because it's a night owl and it probably is not going to step out even in the daylight. Whereas the northern pygmy owl, the smallest owl we have on Vancouver Island, only about 6 inches tall, he sounds like this. Hear the higher pitch?
like on the hill, and
These are the ducks.
we can put them.
Now we're going up to another box here in a little while, and I had a response last year. Yeah, it would be last year. I had a response from the northern pygmy owl, just up, you know where they cut the wood in the middle of the road up there? Right in there. I couldn't see him. He was right up there, and he was calling back to me, and I was calling. I couldn't see that little guy.
Wow.
Couldn't see him, but he came right into the sound, and he was responding. And it was probably a little earlier in the morning than this, but not much. And so they will come out and they hunt. They're what we call crepuscular. They'll hunt just at dawn and just at dusk, and not so much through the middle of the night, so dark. Whereas the others are pretty nocturnal. So it's just an intermittent peep like that, and then every once in a while, I can't do it fast enough. His twitter is faster than I can. Then there's another one, the northern saw-whet owl, which is the one that's nesting here, and he's like this. Listen to a different tone. That may not be quite the right tone, but saw wet. You know what that means? When you're sharpening a saw, you actually wet it, only the sound is whip, 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 whip.
Okay.
You see? And that's how it's got its name, because it sounds like you're sharpening a saw. And he goes on and on and on like that. And yet I've never heard one in here, and yet I've had 3 nests of them. Perfect piece of habitat. A big western red cedar surrounded by other Douglas firs and big leaf maples, but it's close to the river as well. And my experience with this bird is that it does like these more or less riparian habitats near the streams and creeks, because the western screech owl is known, of course, to hunt at night, like almost all owls do, but it also will take small fish. It will actually skim the water if there's a fish near the surface that it can see in the darkness, and it'll take small fish. So this hatchery program that we're doing here is producing lots of fish, and theoretically it should be helping the western screech owl. We hope so.